Mr. Mayor, ang nangyari po dito sa pagkakabili or in the acquisition of the property covered by TCT 76220 is by way of negotiated sale, di po ba?
Eventually, yun po ang nangyari. Hindi na po umabot po sa expropriation.
Expropriation. Hindi po expropriation ang nangyari, di po ba?
Hindi po.
So, by way of negotiated
Dahil
sale.
yung kung expropriation, dapat sinampahan namin ng kaso.
Opo, hindi na po umabot doon.
Hindi po umabot doon.
However, ang ginamit niyo pong basihan ng inyong karapatan na pumasok sa transaksyon bilang alkalde ng Maynila ay ito rin pong 7975, di po ba?
Alam po nyo,
Sagutin lang po sana, pakisuyo po.
ang sagot po dyan, pagka meron po kayong lupang tinatarget for public use, at gagamitin nyo yung power of eminent domain, gagawa kayo ng expropriation measure.
So, pero ang nangyari po rito, hindi expropriation, di po
Hindi
ba?
na po umabot sa korte.
Kaya nga po, pero just the same, you made use of or you relied on the provisions of City Expropriation Ordinance number 7975, according to you, for expediency purposes.
To get the parties to respond, yes.
Did it not occur to you that you should have asked your council, the City Council of Manila, to pass a specific and separate ordinance to correct the measure you were to rely upon? Because 7975 speaks of expropriation, and you ended up
misleading, Your Honor, also speculative.
Yes, sir.
Sa tingin ko po, ang City Council ay tumugon na substantially. They gave me a shotgun blast. Binigay na nila yung lahat ng available parcels of land in the area. Nagbigay na po sila ng authority to appropriate certain sums of money. Kaya hindi na po ako bumalik at tinuloy ko na po yung visa ng kanilang ordinansa.
At sangayon nga po kay gagalang-galang Senator Lacson, tungkol naman dun sa isang ordinansa, hindi rin mo ba pumasok sa isip nyo na dapat humingi kayo ng separate specific ordinance para maglagay ng pondo para dito sa negotiated sale? Kasi hindi naman po expropriation ang nangyari. Yung 7976 ay budget ordinance for the general fund of the City of Manila. Hindi mo pa pumasok sa inyo na para areglado ang usapan at ang transaksyon, dapat may separate ordinance para sa pondo at para sa property. Kasi wala rin pong ordinansa kayong pinagbabasihan na nagtitreat sa property belonging to Basa Guidote. Yung pong pinag-uusapan nyo,
Listen, what is the purpose of this line of questioning? You are questioning the source of power of the mayor to buy the property? Or what is the relevance of
yes, Your Honor, because the good mayor is saying that he derived his authority from this purported city ordinances
to buy the property?
to buy, but apparently
And that you are saying, in effect, that the mayor was not authorized to buy the property?
not properly authorized, Your Honor.
If Your
Not
Honor,
properly authorized. But since the property was bought by the City of Manila, which is relevant to the issue at hand, well, if he committed an infraction of his duties as a mayor, that is a separate issue, isn't it?
Yes. We are not concerning ourselves
With the possible legal
Consequences.
responsibility of the mayor with respect to the way he handled this power.
we're just pointing out
Anyway,
the infirmities and flaws
I
of
just
the
want to
transaction
know-
entered into, Your Honor.
The chair just want to know the purpose of this line of questioning, because
if you're
we are using time of the court on this issue, and we are concentrating on this issue instead of relating the purchase to the present issue of impeachment. But anyway, you proceed.
Mr. President.
the gentleman from Pampanga.
Yes, Mr. President. If I may just add, Mr. President, because we're interested in the Basa Gidote aspect of this transaction rather than the local government's participation in it, no? And whether or not there are infractions. No? So I share the concern of the Senate President that we seem to be moving towards another direction.
Collateral issue.
Precisely, Mr. President.
But anyway, we will give you all the leeway and
We'll go to another point.
show us the connection, the link of this particular issue with the impeachment trial.
Your Honor, may I just make a manifestation?
Yeah, please.
If Your Honor, please, under the local government code, when a local government authorizes expropriation, it is first required that the local executive or the chief executive of the city or municipality should first try to negotiate a sale. And only if it fails should the local executive go through expropriation. And this is why an ordinance for expropriation implicitly includes the authority to negotiate, Your Honor, a sale.
Yeah, but regardless of whether the acquisition is by expropriation or negotiation, the fact is that a sale was concluded, payment was made by the City of Manila, and so this is now related to the problem of impeachment before this court. So proceed.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
Anyway, you can pursue your question and let's see how you will connect it.
Yes, Your Honor. We'll now go to the Secretary's certificate, earlier identified by the witness and marked in evidence by the defense as Exhibit 230, Your Honor. Mr. Mayor, you said that in relation to your query as to the capacity or identity of the person you were dealing with, particularly Cristina Corona, you were shown a copy of this Secretary's certificate. That's correct.
Tama po yun. Tama po yun.
And you have observed that this is a February 1987 document.
Tama po yun.
I mean, that is the date appearing as typed.
Doon sa certification na po.
Yes, and however, the notarization bears the date June 19, 1987. That's correct. As being examined by our witness.
Opo.
Now, so you have observed that there is a disparity between the date of the instrument itself and the notarization between February and June of the same date. Have you observed that?
I did not take note of that anymore, but I saw the certification and I took it in its face value.
Okay, face value. And you saw this in 1991, in 2001, that's correct? 2001.
Yeah, po. Opo.
When you were negotiating for the negotiated sale or for the acquisition of the subject property, that's correct? Or a margin or difference of 14 years, so to speak.
Opo.
Yeah, probably by mathematical computation. Did it not occur to you that you should have asked Mrs. Corona for a more recent source of authority?
Speculative.
This is. I'm just asking if he knows, if he did, Your Honor.
It didn't enter my mind anymore because a certification is a certification.
Were you showed an original copy of this Secretary's
Signed
certificate?
by a certain
Asuncion Basa Rocco.
Basa Rocco and Sister Concepcion Basa.
Yes. But of course, when you saw this Secretary certificate dated June, notarized on June 19, 1987, you did not know personally who was Asuncion Basa Rocco. You did not.
Hindi ko po alam.
You do not know her from heavens.
Hindi ko po. from Earth.
Yes. And you do not personally know Sister Concepcion Basa.
Hindi ko rin po kilala yung mga tao.
But even if you do not know these signatories in this secretary's certificate, you gave full faith in the veracity of this 14-year-old document.
At that point in time, presented by Mrs. Corona, and in front of my own lawyers, I took it.
As gospel truth, so to
I
speak.
took it as a valid legal document.
Okay. You don't even know the notary public.
Irrelevant, Your
The
Honor.
chair would like to clarify. Who is Asuncion Rocco? Is he related to
Nanay ito, di ba?
Cristina Rocco Corona?
I understand they're all part of the board of directors of their corporation.
How
And
many? What was the capitalization of the corporation?
Wala pong nakalagay dito eh.
Did who were the other members of the board?
My legal officer would probably in a better position to answer that because hindi ko na po binusisi ito.
Who was the president of the corporation?
Lumalabas po dito basta't
Was Mrs. Rocco, Mrs. Corona, the president of
siya
the
po
corporation?
ang binigyan authority, resolved that Cristina Corona shall execute, sign, and deliver such papers, documents, or other writings.
What was her position other than a representative of the corporation in that certification? Was he holding any position in the corporation?
Hindi ko po alam yun.
Continue, Counsel.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. So you gave you gave full faith and relied on this document, even if you do not know the signatories or anybody
Already.
signing this document.
Already answered, Your Honor.
So be it, Your Honor. Now, as part of your due diligence in this 34 million transaction involving a strategically located property, you have read can you read for us, Mr. Mayor, the first authority given to Cristina Corona under paragraph 1?
Asuncion
Okay.
Basa Rocco, Corporate Secretary of Basa Guidote Enterprises, a corporation duly organized and licensed to do business under Philippine laws with office address at 903 Lepanto Street, Sampaloc, Manila, do hereby certify that during the special meeting of the Board of Directors held on February 1987 at its above-mentioned office address, the following resolution was unanimously adopted.
Number
Number
one.
Resolved that the corporation appoint Cristina Corona as its exclusive agent to negotiate, sell, and or dispose the property together with improvements thereon, located at Bustillo Street, Sampaloc, Metro Manila, covered by TCT numbers 76220 and 33889 of the Registry of Deeds of Manila.
Second, please.
Resolved further that Cristina Corona shall execute, sign, and deliver such papers, documents, or other writings of whatever nature or kind as may be necessary for the sale, transfer, and disposition of the above-mentioned property together with the improvements thereon.
And lastly, the third
Resolved
paragraph.
finally that the corporation shall pay Cristina Corona a commission in the sum equivalent to 5% of the total purchase value of the aforementioned of aforedescribed property together with improvements thereon. In witness thereof, set my hand unto this. Asuncion Basa Rocco.
In other words, Cristina Corona was an agent of the corporation.
Turning out as the only authorized person to talk to.
Yeah, agent to sell.
Agent to sell, yes,
Yes.
Mr. President.
So, and that is so provided for under the first paragraph that you read, that she is appointed as the exclusive agent of the corporation to negotiate, sell, and or dispose the property.
Tama po.
So, just to be the exclusive agent, that's correct, as stated here.
Yun po ang
Best
nilalaman.
evidence is
Okay.
the whole document,
And
Your Honor.
on the second paragraph, as you read it empowers or authorizes, this Secretary Certificate authorizes or empowers Cristina R. Corona to execute, sign, and deliver such papers, documents, and other writings like maybe titles, deed of sale, tax declaration, as you earlier stated. That's correct.
Tama po.
Just to deliver documents, that's correct. As stated here.
As stated.
And lastly, the authority given is, actually this is not an authority but a privilege, Your Honor, that Cristina R. Corona shall be entitled to receive a 5% commission on the total purchase price, as stated here.
Yun po ang nilalaman.
Now, in this Secretary's Certificate, can you tell this Honorable Court, in relation to the deed of absolute sale that was later on executed on March 26, 2001, if there is anything here in this particular Secretary's Certificate that authorizes Cristina to receive in her behalf the check or the payment for the transaction?
Objection, Your Honor. That's misleading.
Why?
I'm asking, Your Honor.
Why?
It's misleading because the question is to authorize to receive in her own behalf. That is not the point. Here, she was supposed to sell or execute. What is stated here, Your Honor, is that the corporation appoints Cristina Corona as its exclusive agent to negotiate, sell, and or dispose the property. And therefore, that includes the authority to receive payment,
That is a conclusion, Your Honor.
not for herself, but for the corporation, Your Honor. That's why I said it's misleading.
I submit, Your Honor. My question is very specific. If there is anything here,
Let the witness answer.
thank you, Your Honor.
Wala po nakalagay dyan na
None.
personal niya tatanggapin.
None.
Nakalagay ba dyan na pwede siyang pumirma ng kontrata?
Meron.
Ito po malinaw po naman yun Resolved that Cristina Corona shall execute, sign, and deliver such papers, documents, or other writings of whatever nature and or kind as may be necessary for the sale, transfer, and disposition of the above-mentioned property, together with improvements thereof.
Well, anyway, that's a legal question, whether that is a proper authorization. This is a real estate property being sold, and there are certain documentary requirements for the either disposition or acquisition of real estate property. But that's a legal question that must be discussed by the two panels at the present time. Proceed with your cross-examination.
Now, Mr. Mayor, when you executed the subject deed of absolute sale in March of 2001, were you made aware of the fact that there was already an internal squabble, an infighting between the owners and members of Basa Guidoto? Just if you were informed.
Irrelevant, no
Wala po
basis.
kaming alam dun.
Okay. Now, I'm showing you again this Exhibit 238, the very check that was paid for by the city government of Manila in the amount of 34,703,800. Can you read for us the payee stated here?
Ito po'y malinaw dito. Pay to Cristina Corona, ITF, in trust for Basa Guidote Enterprises Incorporated. Ito po'y cheque para sa Basa Guidote Enterprises Incorporated. Nakalagay po yung pangalan ng aming kanegosasyon at representante po ng korporasyon.
And again, calling your attention to
Just a clarification. Then who was the seller in the deed of sale?
I'm about to go to that, Your Honor.
In the deed of sale, who was selling the property?
Basa Guidote Enterprises, a private corporation,
Why did the City of Manila pay the money to
represented po siya.
Cristina Corona instead of Basa Enterprises?
Yun po naman sa security rin po ng transaksyon at ng cheque. Somebody has to be responsible. We don't know Basa Guidote Enterprises kung sino po yan. Ang representante po na kausap namin na aming maaaring gawing managot dun sa checking yun ay si Cristina Corona. Kaya yun po naman ay malinaw. Yung cheque ay para sa korporasyon in trust for such corporation.
Pero, ang korporasyon na mayor mayroong kanyan, stockholders, may board of directors, may officers, presidente, vice president, treasurer, corporate secretary.
Opo, dahil po dito sa transaksyon ito, siya lang po naman ang aming nakausap. And as initiated by the authority presented to us, as contained in the deed of sale, duly authorized for the purpose by board resolution and secretary certificate dated June 19, 1987, copy of which is attached as Annex A.
Anyway, continue with your question.
Yeah, thank you again, Your Honor. As you read it, you made mention of a board resolution and secretary certificate dated June 19, 1987. As part of due diligence, Mr. Mayor, did you ask for a copy of the purported board resolution mentioned in this deed of absolute sale?
Ito na po yung board resolution contained in the certificate of the secretary.
No, Mr. Mayor, board resolution and secretary certificate are two different documents. Yes, there is the secretary certificate, but my question is, as mentioned in the deed of absolute sale, did you not ask for a copy of the board resolution mentioned here?
At this point, Your Honor, I think all these questions are already immaterial and irrelevant. First, the subject...
He's under close. Let him answer.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, do you understand that these are two different
To
documents?
answer that, as I'm sure when our city legal office prepared the draft deed of sale, lahat po yan pinag-usapan nila. I presume that.
But of course, you are the very signatory in this contract, so I assume that you must have exercised due diligence. Anyway,
Alam nyo, pag-prepare ng kontrata, pag-pirma ng mayor ng kontrata, every day you are signing the documents as high as this, hindi po na mapusisi lahat yung mga requirements. That's why we have 26,000 employees.
as correctly pointed out by our president, the seller in this deed of absolute sale is Basa Guidote Enterprises Inc., not Cristina Corona. Now, did it not occur to you, to your mind, that considering that the very seller is Basa Guidote, which is a corporation, as stated here, that check that you issued and all the supporting vouchers should be named under Basa Guidote, even without in transport? Did it not occur to you?
Yun po ginawa namin.
That is the proper process?
Yun po ginawa namin. Basa Guidote Enterprises in trust with somebody. Dahil baka, kung sino kumulekta po ng cheque or, ang kausap namin, certain Mrs. Corona, mayroong certification of her authority. Mahirap po naman ilagay namin dun. Basta yun lamang korporasyon. Kung saan mapunta po yun.
Are you telling us that without that in transport, you cannot be secured with a check?
I don't think we can be secure.
Oh, anyway, I leave it to the appreciation of the Honorable Court, Your Honor. So you do not have any other authority from Basa Guidote to empower, to authorize Cristina Corona to receive the payment by way of this check in her name or in trust for Basa.
Admitted, Your Honor.
Admitted. Thank you. Now, in the deed of absolute sale, there are certain terms and conditions mentioned under page 3 thereof. And may I ask you to go over said page again and pay attention to the terms and conditions 1 to 6 appearing on page
Is it
3 and 4, Your
at this
Honor.
juncture, Your Honor, and with the kind indulgence of the Honorable Court, I think there is no question as to the transaction being referred to in the examination of the witness. There is a sale of 2 parcels of land. The amount agreed upon by the parties had been paid to the owner, Your Honor, received in trust by the representative, and public market, for which the property had been appropriated, had already been built. So the transaction is a long consummated
What is the
transaction.
purpose of the question, Counsel?
Your Honor, the prosecution, the defense presented our good mayor to prove the transaction with the...
What is your purpose in asking that specific question?
Your Honor, to show if there was compliance with the terms and conditions of this agreement.
Answer.
May we request for reconsideration, Your Honor?
Why?
The terms and conditions do not anymore apply because the transaction had long been consummated, Your Honor. Well, this
We
is
are showing the infirmities, Your Honor, the
this is only
clause,
important.
attendant 2.
Yes, but if there are infirmities, this is not the province or the forum for this infirmity. If there was liability on the part of the mayor, Your Honor, if the mayor did not comply with any obligation, then there may be a
What was the
litigation.
purpose of your question again?
We will show the infirmities of this particular transaction, Your Honor, which our good mayor is a participant.
All right, Mayor, sir. Let's hear the answer of the Mayor.
Please go over this.
Ano po niyang pinagagawa niya?
Please go over the 6 terms and
I've
conditions.
gone over it.
Okay. Now, under paragraph 1, I think we will be in agreement to say that there was payment of the amount stated therein, which is 34,700,800. That's correct.
Shall pay.
So you paid for.
Do not answer when I have objection.
So this amount was paid,
Nabayaran po.
and that is by virtue of the check we earlier mentioned about. Being the mayor, would you say, Mr. Mayor, that what kind of check is this? Is this an ordinary check, manager's check, or cashier's check?
Official check.
Not a manager's check.
It's a check of the city government that I saw millions of times.
But will you agree with me that this is neither a cashier nor a manager's check?
It's an official check that the city government
Already
issues.
answered.
Okay.
For
Now,
its-
you will have to agree with me, Mr. Mayor, that under paragraph 1, the provision is for the city government of Manila to issue a cashier's check or manager's check.
Assuming, Your
No,
Honor,
I'm just trying to test the...
yes, I object.
Let the witness answer. They're just confirming whether that is the provision of the contract.
No, Your Honor,
I do not see any...
with the kind permission of the Honorable Court.
Yes.
The way the question appeared to us, there is apparently no necessity in determining what is the nature of the check. There was payment, and it was issued. The payment was in the form of a check, Your Honor.
Actually,
Whether it is
the
manager's,
understanding of
cashier's.
the chair, Mr. Counsel, is that this cross-examination is testing the credence of the testimony of the mayor.
But they do not even question, Your Honor, if the court will remember, the payment of 34 million pesos.
They're under cross. We cannot control the way he crossed.